All right, this is Blackjack, another great name for a pitty, really any dog. This is Blackjack's roadmap to success. So yes, kisses, passive training. Remember when she kisses you? If you want to make that command, just say kisses every time she kisses you. Now, if she's doing it at times you don't want, then just don't engage. All right, so this is her roadmap to success. We started off talking about excitement or exercise because she is definitely an excitable Pitbull. Yes, sweetheart. And so her guardian does a good job of walking her every day. I'm going to put you on your belly, on your back. There we go. I can rub your belly. And you see a little bit of pink parts. She used to be really pink, so the guardian has switched her over to a Royal Kingdom sensitive skin. Also, she was licking me on my lips a little bit, occupational hazard, but dogs can pass a parasite. And there's a couple articles going on Yahoo about people who let their dog lick a open wound who had to have their limbs amputated. So don't ever let your dog lick an open wound. That expression dog's mouth is clean. It's cleaner than the cat's mouth. It's still filthy. All right. And you can see she's being a little rambunctious right now. When she's rambunctious, I want you to interpret that as her way of saying, I need some exercise. So we talked about some creative ways of exercising. If you can find some stairs, I'll get that for you. If you can find some stairs nearby where you can throw the treat down the stairs, that's when I would use a retractable. It's the only time I suggest using a retractable leash. So show her you have the treat, throw it to the bottom of the stairs. I like to use fun command words. So when she goes to the bottom of the stairs and licks up, I might say Canada. When she goes, Mexico. When she comes to the top of the stairs, I might give her another treat, say Canada or Aspen, or some word means goes up. So one word means go down the steps, one word means go up. I like using fun command words because dogs are the only animal on the planet that can read a human facial expression. So if you use these fun command words, especially when you have dogs that have any sort of aggression-related issues, that can help take a little bit of the verve out of the intensity of it. Yes. You're just a sweetheart. I'd take you home. You're a sweet little puppy. Yes, you are. All right. So some of the things that you can do is scent games. She seemed to like chasing a laser. Some dogs can chase a laser, and it's healthy. Some dogs should not. I might have opened up a can of Pandora's box here. So she likes chasing it, so that's a nice thing you do. The nighttime, this would be a great time. The guardian mentioned wanting to race her up and down the driveway. That would be a great thing to do, have her chase that laser. Now keep in mind the laser is activating kind of the prey drive, and so it's going to make her worked up first, and then after it stops, it'll take about 5 to 10 minutes to settle down. So I'm using the laser. When I'm going to turn it off, I run it, so the dog's chasing, I run around a corner so she sees it, doesn't see it just disappear nowhere, goes out of her line of sight. So then she goes out and she'll spend a couple minutes looking for that little red dot that doesn't have a smell. I also recommend the guardian uses a snuffle mat for feeding her, as well as an omega treat ball. And there's other there are other ones that you can use, treat dispensing toys and puzzles. Those can really help. They make the dog use its brain, and for dogs, using their brain is very stimulating. Yawn. Now on the walks, most people think of the walk as the momentum is what is the exercise in the walk. For dogs, the actual on a walk, the sniffing burns more energy than the actual walking. Running is different, but for walking, yes. So what we want to do instead is we want to, when she's walking, just think of how long you're going to go for the walk, not the duration, or not making it around the block and getting back home. I'm just going to walk for 10 minutes this direction for a 20-minute walk. When I get to 10 minutes, I cross the street, and then I walk back so we have fresh sniffs for the next 10 minutes. So instead of thinking I got to go 6 blocks, you might want to make it 2 houses, but you don't care because you're just going for duration. And the sniffing is relaxing, stimulating, encouraging. It also burns a lot of energy, so there's a lot of benefits to it. All right, so look for ways to, and Google that scent games, because there's a lot of stuff that you can do scent games-wise that'll really help. So Google those and find some good things you can do and play around with those elements. Dog skiing, if you know how to skateboard, that'd be a great thing to do. If you do that, message me, because there's a special type of harness you put on the dog, and it needs to have a little bit of a bungee. And I can give you some tips for doing that, but that's a wonderful way to burn energy. So I'd like to see the guardian exercising her before he goes to work, as well as when he gets home from work. Walks are great. We don't want to forego the walks, but the snuffle mat and the treat ball, those things can really help. Running the laser can really help. Dog skiing, all the rest, and fetch and all the rest of that stuff. She doesn't really like to fetch, so I guess that's not an option. Okay. Let me see. We also talked about rules and structure and dog psychology. Remember, for dogs, anything your dog is doing when you pet it is what you're rewarding or amplifying the dog for doing. So I pet a dog when it's all excited. If she was wiggling when I was petting her and saying relax, well, relax means wiggle on David's lap and try to lick him in the face. So instead, what I like to do right now, she has a nice calm energy. So now I can pet her from the nape of her neck to the base of her tail in a slow stroke and say settle, zen, chill, relax, whatever the word is that you want to use, you're putting in context because that's the energy she has now is relaxed energy. So now when I pet her, that's what I'm going to amplify, and that's what, if I assign a command marker, that's what she's going to remember later on. So when I come home, if she's all excited and I say, relax, she knows what I mean. Doesn't mean she's necessarily going to agree with it, but she will understand what I mean. Now, remember, dogs learn through repetition, consistency, and good timing. You have 3 seconds to correct or reward the dog for them to have the ability to make the connection, but it has to be repeated consistently enough times in a row. Every time the dog deviates, it really slows down the learning process. It's also important to remember that anything your dog does in your presence that you don't specifically disagree with, you're saying, that is my seal of approval. Not saying no is pretty much the same thing as saying yes. So if she's doing something that you don't like barking out the window, you want to disagree with that. If she's barking at you for your attention, don't look at her or correct her, because negative attention is also just as validating to dogs just about as positive attention. So if she's demand barking, that's the one time I would ignore her completely. Okay. You know the dog bed, you had it upside down, right? That's the actual supposed to be the upside.
Yeah, but this side's all...
that side's all furry, but if you look, that it's cut on the back side, on the other back side. You see that little cut on the main loop?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's fine. I actually prefer white. Dogs are colorblind, so they don't see everything very well in a dark color, and that's a dark color on the other side. There's nothing wrong with it, but a lot of times when people have that one, I would actually tell people to put a white sheet on it or flip it over like that. It's perfect. So remember to toss the treat on it. Remember, treat goes in the dog's mouth first, not just for what we did today, anything. So throw the treat on the dog bed. When she gets on there and she has at least one paw on the dog bed and she licks it up, we say Belize, which is the command word we came up with that. So at first it's just on one paw, then eventually it became 2 paws, then it would be 3 paws and 4 paws. Now what I usually do is I throw 10 treats in a row, one at a time, let her get it, wait for her to vacate it, throw another one. After about 10, when she's not looking, get her looking here, then throw a treat or leave a treat there, and the color's nice, so she'll see it right away. And then when she goes over there on her own, don't point it out, say the word Belize when it goes in her mouth. Third way is I bring her over to it, put her in a sit or an LAY, put the treat in her mouth, and I would say Belize as well. These are 3 ways to entice her to want to go there. After she goes there, then I want to start rewarding her. So if she goes there on her own, I want to quietly pull out a treat and throw it onto the dog bed. So she's like, man, I come here now and it rains treats. Now if you're watching TV and you don't have any treats, you can just say Belize. Or if you can get up and go pet her, that's great. But sometimes you get up to go pet them, they get up and move away. So that would be better just to say Belize. After a while, she should start going there on command. Remember, rewarding a dog by breaking the rule is a very confusing way to reward the dog. It kind of opens that Pandora's box and makes them want to come back and do it again. So if you want to reward her, give her a belly rub, play with her, teach her some new tricks and commands, go for a walk. There's a lot of things you can do to reward her that is a reward. Don't make breaking a rule the reward, because then she'll try to break the rule more and more often and you'll get frustrated about it. Now, I went through a couple of exercises, and you can find these on my website as well as a whole lot of other ones. Now, if you can't find these, please text me. But right now, you can go to doggoneproblem.com, click on where it says Dog Training Tips. On the desktop, on the right side of the box or the page, there will be a search box. On a phone, it'll be at the bottom of the page. Just type in whatever you're looking for. Some of the exercises we went over are a focus exercise and I call it a hand targeting exercise. So type in hand targeting or targeting. If you can't find that, let me know. I have these videos for our puppy classes that aren't necessarily always on our website, but I can share them with you. They have great tutorial notes and stuff added to it. So practice both of those, follow those videos, and if I don't have it listed in the write-up, message me. I can add a link to it or send you a link to the videos. But the idea is we want to get her to be able to come and touch our hand from 15 feet away. And so that one's an easy one. Practice the heck out of that one. It should be only a day or two before you can get her to come pretty far and get that 15 mark. Then once she does that consistently, start doing it outside when there's no distractions. And when she does it outside consistently, then tell daycare what the command was. Hey, if you need her to come, I taught her a touch command. Just flash your hand down and say touch. And she comes over to it, pet her and say touch. So that way, come means come to me, or come here. Is that what you would say for
come? Yeah.
Come here. So that often represents the end of fun. So if she's having a great time playing with the other dog, you say, come here. She's like, you're trying to take me away. Touch? Oh, run, touch my nose and get a treat? Sure. So sometimes it's a nice alternative way of calling the dog. The focus exercise is also a great way to get her to stop focusing on things that you don't want. Most of the times, dog focus works against us. The focus exercise, the way I showed you, will stop the production of cortisol in the dog's blood, and it also has the benefit of allowing you to redirect the dog's attention before she gets into trouble. I think most of her problems, I think, are a result of her getting too excited and losing some control. Some dogs lose control of their bowels. I had a dog myself that jumped up and nipped my mom in the face and drew blood, and it wasn't aggressive. It was just so excited to see her. We have a tendency to confuse excitement for happiness. Remember, when she's excited, we're going to ignore her. When we come home, if she's all excited, we're going to just shimmy her off if she tries to jump up on us, because that can be a way of claiming us, and just ignore her. When she finally settles down, we're going to reach to pet her, and when she gets excited, we're going to pull back and go about our business. The videos above, I have one, I think I'm going to have multiple ones on this write-up, but one of them, now if you reach for her and she ducks her head, you can stop for that, but I would really focus on just taking care of that by working on that exercise by itself. She comes over, reach to pet her, she ducks her head, you pull back, follow the instructions of the video. When you're coming in, this would be separate. She's all excited. Anything our dog is doing when we pet it is what we're amplifying. So we pet an excited dog, we're going to make them more excited. We say calm down, that becomes a command word to get excited, because that's the context she hears it. So when you come home, just ignore her completely. Don't stop doing it and do your normal stuff, but just ignore her. Shimmy away if she tries to jump up. Once she finally settles down, if this is the dog, start reaching for her. You'll reach about this far and she'll start wiggling, pull your arm back and go back to doing what you're doing. Don't say no, no corrections, no reprimands. You just stop trying to engage with her. She'll calm down again later on, you reach again. It'll be anywhere from like 2 to 12 or maybe more reaches and stoppages. But eventually she'll figure out. So when I get excited, that stops him from reaching for me, and she'll stay calm. That's, I think, going to help with daycare, your reactivity with dogs, there's a lot of the issues that you have. But we have to help her practice doing those things at times where she really wants to want to do it. Probably the biggest one for you is when you come home. You're her world now. And so when you come home, that's a powerful way to let her know the way I'm going to engage with you is being calm and quiet. And when you're calm, you're very attractive to me. When you're excited, you become invisible. If you're precise with your time, when you're starting and stopping, eventually she'll figure that out. All right, there's another video on my website, Calm Leash. Make sure you type that in, watch that video. It shows how to teach her to be calm when she's on the leash. When you get to daycare, if she's all excited when you walk in there, that's she's also a time she's gonna be more likely to make mistakes. So the daycare is nearby. What I would do is on the weekends and times when you're not, when you don't have to go to work, put her in the car, drive her to daycare, walk in there, walk in the lobby, say hi to the guy. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. No, we're just practicing, or not coming to daycare, but just going there without going inside. So, and then you go back home. Next time she'll be a little bit less excited to go there. And if she gets too excited, you might not even make it in the lobby. So you get there, drive the car, and as soon as you get out of the car, she's all excited, spazzy, you just stop and wait. When she calms down, start taking a couple steps, she gets excited again, tell her to sit. If she sits within 3 seconds, we continue. If she doesn't sit, then we get back in the car, go back home. So practicing going there, I know it's not super convenient. I'm not saying I'm doing this a lot, but if you go there like 4 or 5 or 6 times without actually going in there, that'll help her be less excited about it. All right, so we also talked about rules. Some of the rules, not being allowed on the furniture is rule number 1, because for dogs, the higher they sit, the more rank or social status they have. Sorry, long day. Sitting the same height as us says we're peers. Sitting up here says the dog has more authority. This isn't bad because I kind of invited her up. If she climbs up on her own, that can be an indication of a lack of respect. Doesn't mean it's disrespectful, a lack of respect. So what I would want to do is if I want her up here or I want her on my lap, first of all, we're going to be down on the floor for a couple months. And remember, the rules should be in place for at least 90 days or as long as the problem is still going on. All my clients are like, you said 90 days. All right, so we give away the dog bed, and at the same time we take away the couch. That makes it easier, and you can get those X mats and put those up on here, and they're on Amazon or Chewy, the letter X, M-A-T-S. And you can cut them in half if you need to and put them on the corners, but I think you're probably, you'll have to order about probably $60, $70 worth of them, but it just makes it a lot easier, especially when you're gone. You won't be able to enforce it. And so this will help her, condition her to be on the dog bed by the positive reinforcement, and then by having those placeholders there to help her get out of a habit of coming here. In the meantime, you can play with her and love her and pet her as much as you want. I'm not saying don't snuggle with her. You should do that a couple times a day. Just grab your pillows, put them down, use your couch as a backstop, put her on the dog bed, have her lay on the dog bed and pet her while you watch a little TV. That also will help get her more inclined to wanting to go to the dog bed. All right, so other rules, when the guardian's eating, she should not be allowed in like the immediate area, maybe from that corner of the couch to the wall. and this whole area is off limits when he's eating here. She's eating there. It should be 5 feet away from there. Practicing when you're cooking, she should not allowed to be in the kitchen. And use that exercise that I showed you with the treats, but eventually you can just do it by going in there. She'll want to go in there. You won't have to drop the treats the way I showed you. Remember to keep your authority, your hips pointed directly towards her. And when you're walking back at first, you're going to take step, left foot, right foot, pause. If she doesn't move, take another step backwards. If she's moving around when you step backwards, that's implied as you're giving up the territory. She'll come right back in. Or if you go in there, you turn your hips facing away from her, she'll come right up your butt. So when you go in there, turn around. As soon as you cross the threshold, turn so you're facing her. Take one step, left foot, right foot, pause. Left foot, right foot, pause. Keep doing that. And then until you get all the way to the back wall. When she sits or lies down, take a big step backwards whenever she sits or lies down to say, because you sat down, I moved further away from guarding. And remember, she can lay across the line as long as she does a belly crawl onto it. Remember to do a setup. Practice microwave the bacon or the roast beef or whatever it is. Yeah, so you can also drop the treats in there, like I showed you, to create that longing. But after a while, it shouldn't take very long. She just knows when you're cooking, I'm not allowed to go in the kitchen. Another rule is you have to sit when I go to the door. So if she wants to go outside, I don't want to go outside. I'm going to go to the door, tell her to sit once. If she doesn't sit within 3 seconds, I walk away, sit down nearby, wait 1 minute. After 1 minute, go back to the door and I command her again only one time. Remember, the more you say it, the less you mean it. Go back to the door and tell her to sit one time. If she doesn't sit this time within 3 seconds, I walk away and I sit down for 2 minutes. Next time I sit down for 4 minutes, then for 8 minutes and 16 and so on. So, and as soon as you tell her to sit and she sits, man, open that door up as fast as you can. So have the door unlocked, all that, so it just swings open. After a while, she'll start to think sitting down causes the door to open, just like going to Belize causes it to rain treats. So after a while, she'll just go sit at the door as her way of saying, I'd like to go outside, please. And I would also do that every time we go to the dog daycare, make her sit at the door, going in and going out. Leaving the door at your house. Sit before I open the door to the car. Sitting is a more subordinate position, so I look for opportunities to get her to do it a lot. And if your dog does sit in certain situations, it can be a way of saying, I'm trusting in you to put myself at a disadvantage, or I'm saying please or thank you. All right, so those are some examples of rules, but look for other opportunities to have her do certain things. And I would practice having you go lay on your bed with your door open and establish that as a rule. She's not allowed to go in the kitchen, in your bedroom. It'd be nice to have you be able to go to sleep and with your door open, and she can be in your bedroom, but not on your bed. But if you have the door closed, that's kind of a separator. And it also, she isn't practicing some self-control. When you go to sleep, if you leave the door open, she's going to come in and jump up on the bed. So what you want to do is just go in there and practice. I'm going to spend the 15 minutes reading some emails, lie in bed and look at your phone like this and watch her out of the corner of your eye. She tries to come in. You can correct the same way you did for the kitchen and help her practice that self-restraint, self-control. Remember to do the same thing with the bathroom. Try to go to the bathroom sometimes with the door open and enforce that boundary. Now, again, enforce the boundary and practice that a couple times before you start doing your business, because you don't want to have to interrupt your business to have her come in or to go correct her for coming in. But after enough repetition, she'll learn to stay out there. And again, she's practicing being alone, which will help with her moving stuff around or not moving stuff around when you're gone. I'd also make sure you keep on getting her those bully sticks and the kneecaps and stuff like that, especially at times where she's going to be really stressful. Your neighbor here is doing some construction. There's hammering and all that. That's going to be a stressful time for her. You set her up for success by getting her exercise beforehand. If you have guests come over, exercise her first. She jumped up and nipped her guardian in the face and drew a little blood when she was so excited right after he got her. So he was very worried about little kids, because little kids want to come and pet dogs. Well, a lot of times what you can do is if you have friends who have relatives, ask them to create a scenario. Now, if you ever run a bunch of kids, just tell them, hey, you got to make a line. And then I would do it only when you have treats. So when she comes up, just say, can I pet your dog? Actually, would you like to give her a treat? Sure. Okay, we got to make her sit. So give her a treat, sit. She sits, they put her in her mouth and say, sit. They might pet her a little bit, and then they walk off. The next kid comes up. Okay, make her sit. And again, that's why we do the sit for petting with purpose, all the rest of the stuff. So after a while, sitting is the best way to get attention from people. And if you don't think the kids are going to listen, it's not a bad situation. They're doing construction. There's other stuff going on. She's stressed out. You see her snapping her head around. That's not a good time to let her meet those kids. And again, because she's so excited about meeting people, I think building in a little bit of a buffer would help. So maybe try to say, I'm only going to let you meet every 10th person that meets that wants to pet you. But try to do it where they have a treat first. They tell her to sit, they give her the treat, then the pet comes afterwards. That really can help set her up for success for that. We also talked about petting with a purpose and passive training. Petting with a purpose is if I want to pet her, or if she's nudging or pawing or demanding attention from me. If I pet her when she tells me to pet her, that validates, yes, you're the boss of me, because when you tell me what to do, I do it. So next time she nudges you, instead of petting her, give her a counter order, tell her to sit. If she's already sitting here, ask her to come and sit over here, or ask her to lay down. I would not recommend practicing shake if you have. I didn't ask, but usually dogs get confused when they know how to shake, because they put their paws up, and that's a way of claiming us. So basically, tell her to sit or to lie down. When she does sit or lie down, pet her under her chin, preferably. You can pet her anywhere you want, just don't reach over her head. And say just sit or just down. Sit or down, not just sit. Not good sit or no good girl. Remember, dogs hear the first word that you say. So when she sits, you should pet her and say sit and not sit. When she lays down, remember, if you like using the word chill, every time she lays, when she lays down, pet her on her chin and say chill. Watch the video above, so when you reach to pet her, if she ducks her head, you're going to pull back and keep on doing that until she no longer ducks her head when she's reached to pet. Insecure dogs are often more reactive. So building up her confidence and helping her stop those insecure body mechanics might have a profound impact on the daycare. We don't know. We'll see in about a month or so. But the breaks you found are really helpful, and I would have the daycare watch the video above where it talks about giving her breaks in the playroom. And again, talk to the manager or somebody, see if there's somebody that can watch her specifically and give her those little mini timeouts, preferably without taking her out of the room every time she passes level 5 energy. After a while, she should get better at that. All right, getting back with petting with purpose. If she tells me what to do now, nothing happens. But if I tell her what to do and she does it, she gets hooked up. So after a while, she'll start coming and sitting in front of you to prepay for the attention. When she does, make sure you reach over and pet her on her chin and say the word sit, and then pet her as much or as little as you want, at least one pet. Otherwise, she can go back to nudging you. I also use passive training, which passive training is waiting for her to organically offer the behavior that you want. This is the easiest way to train a dog. So she's laying down there and she stands up, pet her and say stand. Every time she does a stretch, I would pet her and say stretch, or come up with a word that means that. So that way, and tell the people at daycare, once she can do it consistently on a verbal cue, say she has a stretch command. And you might want to we call it a play bow when they do that, when it's actually a play bow, or to invite another dog. So you might want to just ask them to do that. If there's a dog that's kind of beefing at her and she starts practicing a lot of stretches in the yard, that might help the other dogs feel a little bit more relaxed. I think I mentioned earlier, but on walks, make sure you let her sniff. I think you'll remember that, but I don't remember if I said that or not. All right, so passive training. Every time she goes to her dog bed, call it Belize. Every time she brings you a toy, name all of your individual toys. When she takes her first bite of food, say the name of chimichanga or whatever the word is you want to say that is her command word to eat. You have to do it for about 4 months, and the way you would check it is to have her sit, put her food in her bowl, then you eat something first. When you get done, turn your head to the side and say chimichanga, and you see her go up and eat, then that means she knows it. But it takes about 3 to 4 months of you saying it the first bite, just the first bite, for every meal for about 3 to 4 months. I would get her using the command word that way before you start using the snuffle mat and the Omega treat ball. And then you might want to have a different word. I say soccer for the Omega treat ball. You might call it Grover or Sesame Street, or if you want to use with whatever for the snuffle mat. Don't have to necessarily. You could say chimichanga when there's the snuffle mat as well. But I like being specific whenever possible. When she drinks water, say a word that means to drink water. Agua, Kool-Aid, Heineken, Merlot, whatever you want, happy hour, whatever you want to say. What if she's on a medication where she needs a lot of water? Well, being able to have a command word to get her to drink is easier than teaching her to drink when she doesn't want to. The way to do that is passive training. Wait for her to do it on her own and just mark it within that 3-second window by saying it once. Remember, how you say it matters. Sit is different than sit. So say it consistently. However you want to say it is fine. Just be consistently how you say it. I would come up with a list of the official command words and try to be diligent about exclusively using those words. Try to remember only to say the command word once and not repeat it multiple times. I do say a command word twice. Once during what I call the reward stage, once during what I call the command stage. So I tell the dog to sit. That's the order. That's the command stage. When it sits, I pet it under its chin and say sit a second time to put in context why I'm petting it. Remember, everything your dog is doing is a little mini job. So either you're paying her for what she wants to do or for what you want to do. So make sure it's what you want, and that motivates her to want to do that. And even if you want to pet her, she's got to still set to earn it. If she doesn't, then she doesn't get it. And after a while, she'll start looking for that and be thirsty for that. Now, her nails are a little bit long and just got trimmed. So if you want to use the Dremel on your own, I'll describe it right here. I have a video for that as well. So what I would do is first is I would have some kibble and just feed her a kibble if she likes it. Give her the piece of kibble and then grab her paw like this. And then put the paw down, give her another piece of kibble, grab the other paw. And that's the first stage. And you do it with all, and I would do it when she's nice and relaxed. Don't do it when she's full of beans. This is a great time to practice this. So after I can get to the point where I can grab her paw and she's comfortable with it, I would grab the paw and go like this. I would hold this one digit, then I give her a treat. Now I'm switching over where I'm holding the digit, give her the treat after. To a dog, after enough repetition, this means I'm about to get a treat. And so instead of looking at it as a negative, I like that. So do it with each paw. Hold it up, treat, or kibble. Hold it up, treat, or kibble. So do that with all the paws. And if she struggles, maybe just do just this paw. And the next day, an hour later, do that paw, or the next day, or whatever. Next thing you want to do is, if you get a Dremel, the best place to find it, might find it, is Dremel.com. And go there. It's about $50. It's a rechargeable one. The battery-powered ones, you run with your batteries too. It's ridiculous. So then what I would do is I give her the piece of kibble and then turn on the Dremel. Give her a piece of kibble, turn on the Dremel. Do that about 3 to 5 times the first day, maybe the second day only. Then what I would do is turn the Dremel on, then give her the treat. So now the Dremel sound indicates I'm about to get a treat. Now it's important that you make that switch. So you keep on doing this until she's like, whatever. Then what I would do is combine it. I would have maybe a friend over. I go like this, and then somebody turns the Dremel on, then we drop it and give her a treat. So the Dremel's not touching her. It's just the combination of me holding it up and the sound of the Dremel. So once I can do that for all her paws and digits and she's comfortable, then what I would do is I would hold up the digit like this, take the Dremel while it's off, touch her nail, and take it away, and then give her a treat. And do that for all individual nails. Do that a couple days. After a while, she's just like, yeah, give me a mani-pedi, because that means I'm getting fed. And there's nothing wrong with feeding her entire meal doing this, because it's just helped desensitize her and getting comfortable with it. The next stage is actually Dremeling a little bit. Now, this is going to be harder because now we're combining all the elements. So and you hold it up like this, and then basically turn the Dremel on and just be like, zit, and then give her that treat. Don't make it long. And once you're Dremeling, and you can Dremel a lot, should never be long on it for longer than about 2 seconds, 3 seconds maximum. It'll start heating it up and it can burn her. Now, you can see when you're looking at her translucent nails where it's pink, you don't want to go into the pinkness, but you can go close up to it with the normal trimmers. With the Dremel, you can actually make the quick recede. And if the nails get too long, they can actually crack and amplify. So it's one of those things that you want to work on. Her dew claw nails are about how long you'd like the rest of her nails to be. And if you use the Dremel, you'll be able to recede them, make them go back. Trying to think if there's anything else we want to go over. Anything else I went over? I went over the escalating consequences. If you remember, forgot what those are, message me. I don't have a video for that. I want to just keep that one of those things you have to hire me. Is there anything else we went over that you want me to touch base on? A couple little sidebars. 50% of all dogs die of cancer. Broccoli and carrots ward off 2 types of cancer in dogs. So I would give her a regular carrot as a bone once a week. And I, once a month, take a broccoli and I demolish the fluoride on top of her food. It's a prophylactic way to give them benefits. Don't use rawhides, but keep on getting the rest of the stuff and get that water buffalo horn. She's really going to like that. Keep the breaks going at daycare. Give this stuff about a month, see how it goes. And I do have some clients who are like, okay, I'm just going to do 1 or 2 of these things. My approach is really designed to be a shotgun approach. I know it seems like a lot, but I pretty much summarized everything in probably about 20 minutes on this video. So go back and watch this video as often as you need to until you really got, and you're watching it, doing that. And once you get in the habit of doing all these things, you should, every time you pet your dog, it becomes that micro dog training session. You're rewarding the things that you like. She's going to start emulating those things. You stop getting her to cower her head down because you stop petting her. You teach her to be calm at excited times. All these things are going to have I can't even think of the word, it's a long day, but are going to have a profound impact on her overall behavior. Now, if the dog daycare still reports that she's having problems, let me know in about a month. We can set up a session where I can maybe come, if the daycare will let me, go and hang out in the daycare and just observe her. But if they can watch those videos and start giving those breaks, I think that's going to do, that combined with all the rest of the stuff you're going to do here is going to be the name of the game. If not, let me know. Let me say, no, I'm happy to help you. All right. Blackjack, puppy. That's all I'm going to get from you. Well, this very excitable dog is Blackjack. Blackjack's saying goodbye. Remember, everything you do trains your dog. Only sometimes you mean it.